25 years of innovation behind it, Baylor has driven progress in health and medicine through research, education, and care that push the frontiers of modern science.
9 o'clock here at News 88.7. Good morning. Still have some delays. Katy Freeway headed in as you approach the loop. There's an accident right there near Washington. They're trying to drag off the freeway. High near 100 today. Tonight's low around 78. Could be 100 for the next couple of days as well. So dangerous heat. And then moisture moving in Thursday going into Friday, depending on what's going on in the tropics, whether or not it turns into a tropical storm. In the Florida area now headed this direction. Of course, it could go anywhere. We will let you know. Right now, we're sitting at 85 here at the University of Houston, 88 on the beach in Galveston. KUHF Houston, News 88.7. A service of the University of Houston, 901.
Live from NPR News in Washington, I'm Libby Casey. The U.S. Department of Defense says another service member has been killed in the war with Iran, and it has identified 2 other casualties of an Iranian attack in Jordan Friday. NPR's Jane Araf has details.
Central Command says a service member was killed in a controlled detonation of an Iranian drone in the Kurdistan region of Iraq. And the Pentagon announced the names of 2 military personnel killed in an Iranian missile strike Friday on an airbase in Jordan. It said they were First Lieutenant Tyler James Feehan, 25, of Ava Beach, Hawaii. Private Isabella Gonzalez of Carrollton, Texas, died a day later. She was 19. Both were with Air Defense Artillery regiments. The U.S. military says 17 service people have now been killed in the war with Iran. Iran says about 3,000 Iranians have been killed, many of them civilians. Jane Araf, NPR News, Amman.
The United Kingdom has a new prime minister. Andy Burnham took office today, replacing Keir Starmer, who was ousted by his own centre-left Labour Party. NPR's Lauren Frere reports from London.
In his first speech as Prime Minister, Andy Burnham acknowledged that he is the 7th occupant of 10 Downing Street in a decade and said he wants to restore confidence in this country.
Britain needs to show the world that we can regain our stability once again.
He pledged to, quote, re-industrialize Britain, build more public housing, end what he called rough sleeping, homelessness, and announced plans Tuesday to address rising costs of living. His predecessor Starmer said he's giving Burnham his full support as he reverts to what they call a backbencher in Parliament. Lauren Frere, NPR News, London.
Maine Democrats are entering the final stretch to nominate a new candidate to challenge Republican Senator Susan Collins this November. A frontrunner has emerged to replace Graham Plattner, who dropped out of the race this month after being accused of rape, which he denies. Maine Public's Steve Missler reports.
Former Maine Senate President Troy Jackson held a commanding lead of delegates after the weekend's party caucuses. While those delegates aren't bound to Jackson, most have already said they'll back him at this coming Saturday's nomination convention. Should he secure the nomination, Jackson will push a progressive platform championed by his longtime ally, Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders. The 58-year-old logger has been involved in Maine politics for more than 20 years and has become a strong ally of labor unions and activists, many of whom were elected as convention delegates over the weekend. For NPR News, I'm Steve Missler in Sanford, Maine.
Vice President J.D. Vance and Second Lady Usha Vance have welcomed their 4th child, a boy named Alec Neil Vance. He is the first baby born to a sitting vice president in more than 150 years. This is NPR News.
Support for NPR comes from NPR stations. Other contributors include FJC, a foundation of donor-advised funds working to maximize the impact of charitable giving and to create customized philanthropic solutions. Learn more at fjc.org.
Live from News 88.7 in Houston, I'm Shelby Rose. All eyes are on the Gulf as Tropical Depression 2 has formed west of Florida and is moving toward Texas. Cameron Young with the National Weather Service in Houston says they expect it to strengthen into a tropical storm as it meanders west along the Gulf states.
There's a lot of wiggle room as far as timing of when we could start to see impacts, but as early as Wednesday night, but most likely heading into the day Thursday and Thursday night.
And if it does turn into a tropical storm, then it will be named Bertha. Young says the strength of the storm will depend on how long it stays over water as it moves along the coast. And a rising senior at Bel Air High School in Houston ISD is being held by ICE agents. 18-year-old Aleem Garipov was detained Friday at Hobby Airport. News 88.7's Bianca Seward reports.
Garipov immigrated to the United States from Russia 4 years ago. Teachers and students at Bel Air High School are calling for his release. They describe him as a high-achieving and dedicated student. Here's Shepard Gibson, a friend and classmate of Garipov's.
He was probably the most outperforming student I've ever met. He is like the best person I know.
Houston ISD has not responded to requests for comment on the student's detention. I'm Bianca Seward, News 88.7.
And close to 1,000 people gathered in Montrose over the weekend to protest the use of deadly force by ICE. And a 31-year-old man is behind bars in Brazos County, charged with manslaughter in the death of professional boxer Hannah Rapp. She was killed while on a bike ride Saturday when a man in a pickup truck allegedly passed her, stopped the vehicle, and drove into reverse, striking her alongside of the road. Rapp was a rising star in boxing who challenged for the WBC featherweight title just last month. And these next few days will likely be the hottest of the year to date. 99 degrees for the projected high this afternoon, 100 on the thermometer coming up tomorrow, and it's currently 80 degrees on the University of Houston campus. I'm Shelby Rose, News 88.7.
This is Houston Matters. I'm Craig Cohen. Good morning. Thanks for joining us here on News 88.7 and on Houston Public Media's YouTube channel. Coming up this hour, Fort Bend County news, your dog and cat care questions, and the Astros stumble out of the All-Star break. First, though, we say hello to Houston Public Media's Michael Adkison, who's with us all hour long to encourage your help as we aim to wrap up our Resiliency Fund campaign. Good morning, Michael.
Hey, Craig. Good morning. I know this is a really important time for people to consider making donations here to Houston Public Media for all of the great reporting that we do, the morning updates, the weather coverage, the local stories. Houston Matters, perhaps, if you're listening right now. The reporting that helps you make sense of Houston. Whatever your reason for tuning into this station, now is the time to step up and make your gift.
You know, Houston Public Media lost $2.2 million a year in federal support over 2 years, and this campaign helps us make up those 2 years of lost support so we can plan and be strong well into the future.
And we are on our way to that goal, and this is your chance to help us out.
Here's how you do it. You give now at houstonpublicmedia.org/donate, or you call 888-909-0887.
And you know, this year brought some huge moments for Houston. I'm thinking of the Artemis mission. I'm thinking of HISD continued takeover, even just in the last week with this ICE shooting that has made national news. We were here for all of them, and here in Houston Matters, we've been breaking down all of that story. Local reporting, real context, and through those stories that made you feel connected to this city. Help us keep this station strong and able to continue to bring you this information. There's no need to wait. Become a new member right now at houstonpublicmedia.org/donate, or pick up the phone and call 888-909-0887.
And you, with that support, will encourage the future of a kind of service that you really count on here and that you can trust. Here's an example. A Houston Public Media listener named David says he's been listening to News 88.7 for 20 years, says NPR has been a part of his daily commute that whole time. And he says neutrality matters in a world of social media noise and hyperbolic news. Your support makes that happen right now at houstonpublicmedia.org/donate, or call 888-909-0887.
And if you've never given before, now is your moment to step up. Your first gift is going to make you a member of Houston Public Media. It directly supports trusted NPR news, local programs like this one right here, Houston Matters with Craig Cohen, and the community reporting this city depends on. We could really use your help to help us with this reporting today. Stand with us. Protect this service for everyone across Greater Houston. Join today, houstonpublicmedia.org/donate, or call 888-909-0887.
We're about to get an update on developments in Fort Bend County, and we have reporters dedicated to keeping us informed about what's going on all over Greater Houston all the time. That also includes breaking news efforts, of course. Last week when there was the major flooding in Central Texas, we, of course, partner with other public radio stations around Texas and send a Texas newsroom reporter out to provide the latest information information. We're always trying to figure out what's happened, what's going on, who's affected, and what you should know and do about whatever it is that's going on in your world. This information that we provide here on News 88.7 helps you to answer that last question of what do I do about it? Your financial support makes it possible for us to provide that service at houstonpublicmedia.org/donate or 888-909-0887.
And thank you so much for your donation and your time supporting Houston Public Media. Good journalism takes real work, and we'd consider you making a donation at houstonpublicmedia.org/donate or 888-909-0887.
And we'll check back in with Houston Public Media's Michael Adkison throughout the hour. For now, Michael, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And now let us turn our attention to Fort Bend County, where leadership remains gridlocked over a boycott that could jeopardize the county's ability to, do much of anything right now. There's also a coal plant drawing attention for its role in cloud formation, and the mayor of Arcola is facing felony charges. Here to catch us up on these developments are Houston Public Media reporters Melissa Enaje and Natalie Weber. Good morning to you both.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Melissa, when we last spoke with you about the standoff at Fort Bend County Commissioner's Court, Interim County Judge Daniel Wong had filed a lawsuit against County Attorney Bridget Smith Lawson, asking a district court to declare he remains the county's lawful judge. This after Smith Lawson concluded his appointment ended when a lawsuit against suspended County Judge K.P. George was tossed out. So what's the latest?
Yeah, the latest with that is Daniel Wong Interim County Judge Daniel Wong disposed of his case, a civil case against the county attorney. Therefore, his legal defense believed that, and his legal counsel believed that everything will be settled properly in this lawsuit that the county attorney also filed. And it's in the lawsuit is a quo warranto, which is essentially having the burden for Daniel Wong to prove that he legally and constitutionally is able to be in this position.
Do we know when that's going to be heard?
No, there's no court date. It's still pending, but it's going to be seen in the 400th District Court. And I'm waiting for that date and who's going to be actually overseeing that court case.
The county's two Democratic commissioners have boycotted meetings since July 9th to denying a quorum. What have they had to say about this?
Yeah, and it's really interesting to see, depending on who you ask, because according to the Democratic commissioners, they're saying, for example, Commissioner Dexter McCoy, who's also the nominee for county judge in November against Daniel Wong, he's filed not a lawsuit, but he filed a public document with the county clerk saying, I am going to continue to be absent. This is why, and this is exactly following the proceedings of the county attorney saying everything that happening, it could be a risk to the county. And, actions speak louder than words. Commissioner Grady Prestige has been absent as well since July 9th, and they're saying there's no quorum. But that's who you ask. The Republican commissioners saying there is a quorum with the three of them, with the Republican commissioners, Andy Myers and Vincent Morales and Daniel Wong. So they've continued Commissioner's Court proceedings, and that has been contested by the county attorney's office as well. So there's a back and forth. You're seeing that county agenda items are being passed. They want business to continue, and they believe that the absence of the Democratic commissioners are what's the issue here.
What happens if this standoff doesn't end soon?
That's what a lot of Fort Bend County residents want to know. That's what we want to know. But essentially, legally, things are proceeding in the courts. And there's things that the judge has to decide in the district courts. Is this legally binding that there can be a county judge? Because we have the Fort Bend County budget meetings. We have a proposed tax rate happening very soon in August. And who's to say he legally has the bounds to be there, and who can do that without all commissioners there?
And I guess we should stress, if it should be concluded that he did not have the legal right to be there, any votes that were 3-0 with the two Republican commissioners and the interim county judge, Daniel Wong, one would assume that his vote would be tossed out, meaning just 2 votes, which means there's no quorum.
And exactly. And that is what's at stake here, if it goes either in his favor or not. And that's what this civil lawsuit that the county is against him trying to say and to prove. And that being said, everything poses a legal risk. That is what the county attorney's office is saying. They contested on the last meeting when there were no Democratic commissioners that a quorum even took place. And so there was already a back and forth, even with their absence there.
Natalie, meantime, there's been drama brewing in local government in Arcola. What can you tell us about the charges against that town's mayor, Fred Burton?
Right. So he is facing 5 felony charges, and 2 of those charges are accusations that he either helped people vote who were not eligible to vote, or encouraged them to do so, or failed to prevent them from voting when they were not eligible. Now, why this matters is the elections in Arcola are extremely tight. It's a really small town. The mayor won his most recent election by 22 votes. So that really matters in a town like Arcola. And then the other 3 charges are from when he was mayor in 2023. So for a little context, he was mayor for a really long time. He was defeated in 2023, I believe, or 2024. And then he was reelected this year. But anyways, the last 3 charges come from his previous term as mayor. And they relate to city finances, disclosing information he allegedly was not supposed to disclose, and allegedly making a false government estimate for a city project.
All right, Melissa, back to you and some other stories now. There's a new food distribution program in the county. Who's for it, and who is it for, and who's doing it?
This was not controversial at all.
Yeah.
This is a veterans nonprofit, Combined Arms, in partnership with the Texas Veterans Network, and they're offering, food assistance for everyone who is eligible as a veteran or military families. Every second Monday of the month, they're giving these food supplies away. Not only food supplies, they're also giving the whole wraparound services, whether it's mental health, housing, any kind of service that any military family or veteran may need. This is happening every second Monday of the month. So that's approaching here in August at Parkway Fellowship in Richmond. And they're just suggesting those who are seeking resources to register online. This is what we're seeing here is just not only is Fort Bend County growing, the veteran population is growing as well. They've already broke ground on a new VA hospital that is also going to be in Rosenberg, not far from Richmond. So we're seeing that there is a need there. And then the needs of the veterans also. NPR has previously reported there's been a 30,000 homeless veterans count from a point in person report, I believe, last year. So we're seeing that there's a need, and that was the number, and that data was from throughout the country. So what we're seeing here in Houston, the greater Houston region, is that there is a need there. This organization, Combined Arms and Texas Veterans Network, are offering this service just because of that.
There's also a new wrinkle involving land near the Sugarland 95 burial site. What?
Yeah, the Sugarland 95 burial site. It's a historical marker here in Sugarland. It's part of a convict leasing program that 95 individuals were believed to have been found on the Fort Bend ISD property. Now a high school, a school, technical school actually exists on that ground. Now, what's happening is the 42-acre tract of land adjacent to this burial site, the city of Sugar Land is seeing that developers are looking to possibly get zoning approved there to possibly have housing, multifamily unit developments. But before, in order for them to do that, they have to ask the city of Sugar Land to approve that land. Now, what we're seeing here is that, for example, developers who are proposing, they do want to build on that land. The zoning commissioners want to know, are you going to take the initiative to see that there possibly may be burial sites there, or remains there? So that technically the city or Fort Bend ISD can't, my understanding, legally require them to do that. And it's almost this trust of, will developers take that respectfully? Because community feedback, advocacy groups for the Sugarland 95 Memorial are saying there's a high chance that could happen there. And who's going to bring that onus to developing this land?
You've also been following a recent court ruling about a Missouri City concrete batch plant. What should we know about that?
Yeah, so the Sugarland, I'm sorry, not Sugarland, but now we're moving to Missouri City. A concrete batch plant that is my colleague here, Natalie Weber, actually knows significantly about. This family here lives close to a concrete batch plant, and they have contested this. The county, the Fort Bend County and the city of Missouri City have been very outspoken about the dangers to this health-wise, environmentally. Literally in your backyard, the particles and from the concrete and everything that can affect you. This proceeded past protest to the state administrative courts, and they ruled recently, as of earlier this month, that the TCEQ, the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality, does have the precedence to approve this permit. And so I've spoken with environmental leaders and advocacy groups here at Air Alliance Houston. They're deeply disappointed that these individuals who didn't have to go all the way to Austin and protest that for their safe environment and health matters, and community members, and to protest against that, they took this initiative and provided all this evidence to say that this is unhealthy. The people with asthma, all the particles and everything.
Right. Natalie, finally, you've been following the saga of the WA Parish coal plant in Richmond. Researchers from UC San Diego examined its emissions. What did they find?
Yeah, so they found that the Parish coal plant was the largest source of cloud-forming pollution. So that means that the particles are big enough that they can actually help form clouds in the Houston area.
Wow.
But what else is interesting is they found that that wasn't really the case for refineries in the Houston area. So they also looked at that, and then they used the Gulf as kind of a control group. And the refineries, their pollution particles were too small. They also think that the fact that the coal plant emits sulfur dioxide is kind of what helps, these particles develop clouds.
So basically, if your plant is creating clouds, there's probably something not right there, is the point.
Yeah. So one thing that they also noted was the emissions coming from the coal plant. They were emitting particles that are kind of associated with health impacts and respiratory illnesses. Now, that's not anything new. That's something that, we've kind of been hearing from activists in the community for a while. But this sort of just affirms, I think what kind of community activists have been saying.
How has NRG Energy, which owns the plant, responded to these findings?
Yeah, so they say, they're aware of the study, they're evaluating it, and in their statement, they just kind of reiterated their commitment to following all local, state, and federal regulations.
Natalie Weber and Melissa Enaje, reporters for Houston Public Media, thank you both very much.
Thank you
for having us.
Still ahead this hour, your dog and cat care questions for Houston area veterinarian Dr. Lori Teller. And we discuss a rough post-All-Star weekend for the Houston Astros. Stay with us as Houston Matters continues on News 88.7 and YouTube.
Support for Houston Public Media.
You count on Houston Public Media. That's why you're here right now. Take the next step and become a new member today. Every gift makes a difference. And with a gift of $5 a month or more, you'll receive PBS Passport, a member benefit that lets you stream more of the shows you love anytime. It only takes a minute to make a big difference. Join as a new member today at houstonpublicmedia.org/donate or call 800-364-8300.
Committed to enriching the lives of seniors through hospitality, engaging programs, and custom care that evolves with changing needs. Serving Houston and West University and Hunters Creek. More at belmontvillage.com/Houston.
Houston Public Media is licensed to the University of Houston System, governed by the UH Board of Regents. Information about open meetings, dates, times, and locations is online at uhsystem.edu.
This is Houston Matters. I'm Craig Cohen. Let's welcome back Michael Atkinson now as we continue to discuss this week's Resiliency Fund campaign and what it means for you and for Houston Public Media. Hello again, Michael.
Hey, Craig. Good morning. This is really just such a critical time to be involved with Houston Public Media. We're in the middle of our on-air Resiliency Fund campaign to make sure that right here on News 88.7 and Houston Public Media, we're here when you turn us on, not after the storm, not after election night, not after the breaking news alert.
But before then.
Then.
Yeah, basically, we're here all the time. We are ready whenever you need us.
And Houston Public Media lost $2.2 million in annual federal support last year, and we still need you to help us make up for that loss.
You can help keep this service strong and ready for you all the time. by making that contribution at houstonpublicmedia.org/donate or call 888-909-0887.
Storms, elections, the World Cup. This year threw a lot at Houston, and we were there to help you make sense of it all, knowing why things were important and why you should care about these topics. You tune in and get all this information and news for free, but the work isn't free for our station. We operate on a tight budget, but there are costs tied to everything that we do. That's why we're coming to you today, because we need your support. When you make a gift right now, it goes straight into covering our cost of bringing you everything you rely on, including Houston Matters. Give now at houstonpublicmedia.org/donate or pick up the phone and call 888-909-0887.
Jessica listens to News 88.7. She says she turns to public media for the facts, that she believes unbiased reporting is essential for democracy to work. Give right now. Keep trusted public media available to everyone. You give at houstonpublicmedia.org/donate or call 888-909-0887.
We know you value Houston Public Media. That's why you're listening right now to Craig and I talk about all of this. So take the next step and become a new member. Your very first gift will help us fill the gap left behind by those federal funding cuts we were talking about. And it's going to keep public media strong for everyone. It only takes a minute to make a real difference. So take that minute, join today, houstonpublicmedia.org/donate or call 888-909-0887.
We were talking just now about a couple of plants in Fort Bend County, one a concrete batch plant, the other a coal plant. In both cases, concerns that have been raised over the years about environmental quality and emissions into the air, particularly for folks who live nearby them. Whenever you hear about that stuff, it's natural to think about your home and your family and your own lungs. You think about your neighborhood. Well, that's part of what we aim to do here, is to help you to connect with what's going on in the region. Houston Public Media helps you make sense of what's happening in the world. You can help us to keep doing that by making that $10 or $20 or $30 a month gift, $1,000 more if you can afford it, right now at houstonpublicmedia.org/donate or call 888-909-0887.
Houston isn't just one story. It's made up of 100 different neighborhoods. It's home to people from 1,000 different backgrounds. I've spent a lot of time myself, just boots on the ground in the wake of that shooting of Lorenzo Salgado Araujo in East End, talking to people, asking them about their experience in that neighborhood and what it's like to live there. Are they afraid to go outside? And that's the type of reporting of people who are actually going out into the community and talking to these folks that you get with News 88.7 and Houston Public Media. We try to tell every story fairly and carefully. Help fund that work by giving today. Give now at houstonpublicmedia.org/donate or call 888-909-0887.
We are in our first year without federal funding, and that means we need you to maintain strong community support. Your $10 or $20 or $30 a month gift right now is crucial and very much appreciated at houstonpublicmedia.org/donate or call 888-909-0887. Do your part and ensure Houston Public Media remains a valuable service for everyone across Greater Houston, including those who are simply not in a position to contribute right now. Keep this service available to everyone with your gift now, and thanks.
You live in a universe.
It's not just your car. It's the one that brought your kids home from school, took you cross country, held memories, laughter, even a few breakdowns. When it's time to let go, give your car a new purpose. Donate it and turn memories into meaningful support for this station. Plus, you'll enjoy free and easy pickup, potential tax benefits, and a simple donation process. Your gift supports the programs you and your family love. Donate today and help keep public media strong. Call or donate online.
They do make your support more vital than ever.
Houston Public Media brings you facts, local, national, and global, free to everyone. But it's your support that makes it possible.
In a changing media landscape, you are the reason we are on the air. Keep it local. Keep it free.
Give now at houstonpublicmedia.org/donate or call 888-909-0887.
This is Houston Matters. I'm Craig Cohen.
An orange stray cat sitting on a fence. You ain't nothing but a hound dog. Cat scratch fever.
How much is that doggy in the window?
Jellicle cats, jellicle songs for jellicle cats, jellicle songs for jellicle cats.
Dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
Once again, Houston Matters goes to the dogs and cats as we welcome your questions about the care and feeding of your canine and feline friends for veterinarian Dr. Lori Teller from the Meyerland Animal Clinic and the Texas Veterinary Medical Association. Dr. Teller, welcome.
Glad to be here.
And we welcome any questions you have about the dog or cat companion in your life. Call or text us at 713-440-8870. Email talk@houstonmatters.org or post your question on our live video stream on Houston Public Media's YouTube channel. Dr. Teller, there is a tropical disturbance brewing in the Gulf southwest of Florida, which as of this morning, Space City weather indicates, at least at this point, is likely to have minimal impact on us here in Houston. But conditions can always change, and between that and last week's flooding in central Texas, we are reminded we have to always be weather aware. That includes preparing should we ever have to evacuate our homes, and for pet owners, that means some additional things to think about. Can we walk through them?
Definitely, and let's hope that this does not impact us, but
yeah,
better to be prepared.
What should you always have ready to take with you if you have a dog or a cat in tow and have to leave the house for an undetermined amount of time?
Definitely have plenty of food and bottled water for the times you expect that you will be gone or may be trapped at home. If your pet is on any medications, make sure you have plenty of that to cover the time you'll be gone as well. Bedding, if you have a cat, disposable litter box, leashes, collars, harnesses, carriers, those kinds of things. Always good if you can to take a favorite toy. Make sure you have copies of vaccination records. You may end up staying at a hotel or someplace that does require that. And any necessary medical records if your pet has some kind of chronic condition and needs emergency treatment elsewhere.
You mentioned hotels. Some are pet friendly, others are not. How can you find out which might be available to you and your pets?
Definitely better to have your route prepared ahead of time, have an idea of where you'll be headed, and you can certainly do a quick internet search to find out which hotels or hotel chains are pet friendly. Are they going to require a deposit? Are there weight restrictions or size restrictions on the pets that they will take as well?
This is Houston Matters. I'm Craig Cohen. On the third Monday of each month, we welcome your dog and cat care questions for veterinarian Dr. Lori Teller. You can call or text 713-440-8870. Email talk@houstonmatters.org or comment on our video stream at houstonpublicmedia.org and on Houston Public Media's YouTube channel. Allison writes, my husband and I are currently expecting our first baby in September. Any tips for helping my very loving but very clingy cat accept the new member of our family and make the transition less traumatic for him?
Congratulations, and thank you for thinking of your cat ahead of time as well. There are definitely things you can do. First of all, old wives' tale that your cat is going to try to smother your baby, not what cats do. But start getting your cat used to a new routine, a new schedule. I'm not asking you to wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning and practice that, but maybe back off a little bit on some of the attention that your cat regularly receives, so your cat won't be quite as demanding. If you have a special chair or place you'll be sitting while you're feeding the baby, start sitting in that chair. If you have a baby doll or something you can use to rock or hold, so your cat gets used to that. If you can get some recordings of babies crying, noises babies make, and start getting your cat adjusted to those noises as well, that can be extremely helpful. And then get some of the cat appeasing, feline appeasing pheromone diffusers or sprays that you can start using around the house as well. Just those have a relaxing, calming effect on your cat too. And there is a food supplement called Calming Care. It's a powder that you can sprinkle on their food. Works very easily, doesn't make them groggy or anything, but it is also have some relaxation benefits to it.
All right, so that's one scenario where your dog or cat could suffer anxiety because somebody new is in the house. We were just talking about preparing for the possibility of having to evacuate.
Yes.
That's not just about food and shelter, is it? If there is severe weather, your dog or cat could get pretty scared by thunder rumbling, not to mention just the idea of leaving the house, particularly for indoor dogs and cats. What advice can you offer for folks whose four-legged companions are suffering from anxiety during stormy weather?
Great question. If you know that your animal is prone to anxiety or you have concerns about it, now is the time to talk to your veterinarian about having some prescriptions on hand, some anxiety medications, so that you can give them, particularly if it's very stressful, if you did not evacuate, floodwaters seem to be rising, and they feed off of our stress as well, so give those medications. If you are evacuating, if you know your pet is prone to motion sickness, car sickness, have those on hand so that, especially if you are evacuating after hours or don't have a lot of time, you can go ahead and give your pets those medications. And some of these can be given multiple times a day. Get those instructions from your veterinarian and be prepared to use them. The last thing we need is an animal getting stressed and then trying to escape and having you running down the highway trying to catch your pet as well.
Yeah, and again, we're just reinforcing things you should think about should you ever find yourself in such a scenario. Rowan writes, I have an older cat who started wanting to go outside a lot, and now he has very small, rough spots on the outside of his ears where fur is missing. What could that be?
Oh, that's could be several things. So things to think about when a cat presents like this, especially this time of year, is insect bites. We will see fly bites, mosquito bites, things like that. For whatever reason, they seem to be attracted to cats' ears. So that could be a possibility. General allergies can also play a role, and your cat could be scratching at these and creating these wounds. If your cat is not currently on one of the heartworm flea tick preventions, definitely talk to your veterinarian about that, particularly in light of the New World screwworm issues we're having in Texas as well. They like these kinds of wounds to lay their eggs. And if you can keep your cat indoors or just outside under supervision, that would also help as well. But talk to your vet about getting medication to get these current wounds resolved.
Meantime, while we don't know whether this tropical disturbance in the Gulf, again, right now it's southwest of Florida. Indications right now are that it's likely to have a minimal impact on us. That could change, but whether it's even organized into anything and actually comes here or not, here's what we do know about the weather this week. It's going to be hot.
It's going to be so hot.
What should we do to protect our dogs and cats, particularly the ones that are outdoors types, from overheating?
Definitely, as much as possible, keep your pets indoors, at least during the peak times of heat. So go for walks early in the morning, late in the evening when it is a little bit cooler. If your pet lives outdoors or spends a lot of time outdoors, they need to have shade. And you need to know that that changes during the day. So the spots that are shady at 10 a.m. may have full-blown sun at 3 p.m. So make sure there is shade available all day. Make sure there is fresh water and plenty of it available all day as well. And one more thing, if you're evacuating, make sure your pet has some kind of identification on.
Oh, right.
So ID tags, preferably they will also have a microchip in case they lose their collar. When they show up at a veterinary clinic or a shelter, they can get scanned. Make sure your microchip is registered in the national database with your current contact information, too.
How do you get one of those microchips?
Veterinarian offices have them. A technician can do it. It can be a technician appointment. Several of the shelters also offer microchipping.
Does it hurt the dog or cat?
It's a big shot. And it's a shot. The great thing about it is it's not a drug, right? So we go get a flu shot, and that hurts for a while, and we feel feverish and what have you. The microchip only hurts during the injection, and it's quick. I mean, you're done in a couple seconds.
I'm just curious about this. Because so many veterinarian visits are ultimately end up with shots, do you make a point of trying to arrange semi-regular visits where you guarantee there will be no shots to make the experience a little bit more pleasant for the dog or cat?
So we certainly have visits where animals do not get any kinds of injections. But for animals that seem very nervous or what have you, we actually call what are called happy visits. And the owner can just bring their animal in, very short, 5-10 minutes, and get treats. And that's all it is. They come in, they see the staff, they may or may not see the veterinarian, they may or may not just get on the scale, we can check their weight, but they get treats, they get pets, they get ood and odd, and then they leave.
Does that tend to help?
Yeah. I mean, you can't just do one. If your pet's that nervous, you're going to do several. Oh, but yeah, definitely makes a tremendous difference.
Then again, there are the visits where you don't do that and you do the shots instead, and that's got to feel like a betrayal.
It's all what it is. But food, bribery, definitely can get us very far.
All right.
I wish my doctor gave me food when I go.
Dr. Lori Teller is a veterinarian with the Meyerland Animal Clinic and executive director and CEO of the Texas Veterinary Medical Association. Dr. Teller, as always, thank you very much.
Thank you all. Stay safe.
And still to come, the Astros stumble out of the second half gate in a weekend sweep by the Orioles. Not exactly the way to start a playoff push. We discuss as Houston Matters continues. This is Houston Matters. I'm Craig Cohen, and this week we are taking just a few minutes here and there to talk with you about our On-Air Resiliency Fund campaign. This is an effort to raise the last of the money lost when federal funding was eliminated last year. Here again to share more is Houston Public Media's Michael Atkinson. Hello again, Michael.
Hey, Craig, good morning. This is the best time of year for us here at Houston Public Media. I know you may not think it, but it is the truth. We love to hear from our donors who want to support us. We lost $2.2 million in annual federal support. And that was a huge change for this station. And so now we are turning to you for your support.
Now, the goal of this campaign is to raise in total $4.4 million. That equals 2 years of the federal funding that we lost.
But hey, here's the truth. We still need you to help us finish this goal and keep this service steady, available, and ready when you need it.
And I guess I should stress, while it sounds like a big number, the fact is we are most of the way to that $4.4 million. I mean,
yes.
Where are we? We're within $600,000, something like that?
I don't have the number off the top of my head, but something like that. Yeah, just a few $100,000. Yeah.
So that's fantastic, and we can finish it off this week. That's the goal here. You count on Houston Public Media. That's why you're here right now. Well, now is the time to become a new member, a new contributor. Give now at houstonpublicmedia.org/donate, maybe $10 a month. Or you can call 888-909-0887.
And looking back, this year gave us a lot to be proud of. Important reporting, new podcasts after the flood with Dominic Anthony Walsh and Sarah Gruno. That's a great podcast if you haven't listened to it. It's local coverage that really met the moment. But none of this happens on its own. This is all because of deliberate and intentional work from our reporting team. And it happens because people like you choose to support this station. So please take the time, become a new member, and make your gift today. Do that at houstonpublicmedia.org/donate or call 888-909-0887.
Liliana says Houston Public Media has been her companion, language coach, and career compass. I guess sometimes public media can help you find direction in your life. Your gift right now helps keep that connection available for every person that's kind of finding their way in the world. You can give now at houstonpublicmedia.org/donate. Again, maybe $20 a month is your speed. Maybe $1,000 gift, one-time gift is something you can do. Figure out the amount that makes sense for you and take care of it again at houstonpublicmedia.org/donate or call 888-909-0887.
Becoming a new member of Houston Public Media is about standing up. It's standing up for the truth and for our community. Your first gift is going to go directly to support local journalism, NPR reporting, PBS programming that informs us, inspires us, and connects us. The loss of government funding is something that we're still working through, and your help matters more because of it. So join today and make your voice heard. Give now at houstonpublicmedia.org/donate or call 888-909-0887.
Houston Public Media's mission is simple: to serve this community with trusted news, education, and culture. And today, that mission reaches you on the air, online, on your phone, wherever you stream. It's free for everyone, but only because of listener support. When you give, you keep this public service accessible to 7.8 million people across Greater Houston. Make your gift right now of $10 or $20 or $30 a month, more if you can afford it, at houstonpublicmedia.org/donate or call 888-909-0887. And thanks.
On the podcast After the Flood.
We know you value Houston Public Media. That's why you're watching right now. So take the next step and become a new member of the station you rely on. Every gift makes a difference. And what matters most right now is supporting the station that brings you the news and information you rely on. It only takes a minute to make a big difference. So join as a new member today at houstonpublicmedia.org/donate or call 800-364-8300.
Nerds hooked on video games, so actor Felicia Day made it herself. The Guild went viral, Day became a star, and nearly 20 years later, she's defying Hollywood again.
I'm a woman in her 40s who loves video games, and there is not even a peep of a person like me on a TV show.
The Return of the Guild, next time, here and now.
It's today at 1.
The Baltimore Orioles swept the Houston Astros over the weekend at Dyken Park in the Stros' first series since the All-Star break. The sweep drops Houston 4 games back in the American League West and 4.5 behind the last AL wildcard spot. Let's discuss now with Believe in Astros podcast co-host Jeff Balke. Hi, Jeff.
Good morning, Craig.
The Astros managed just 2 runs in each of the 3 games against the Orioles. Fair to say you will not win much with an offense that anemic.
Yeah, particularly with the level of inconsistent pitching that they have right now. I mean, Peter Lambert, who'd probably been the model of consistency for them, even struggled a little bit. And Hunter Brown has not really looked good since he's come back from his shoulder injury. When you have that kind of inconsistent pitching, it's difficult to win unless you're getting some runs, and the Astros just could not put runs on the board.
And it's not that they weren't hitting. They got plenty of hits. It's just they couldn't convert them into – they got a lot of folks on base and couldn't bring them in.
Yeah, timely hitting has been a problem for this team off and on this year. It was certainly a really significant problem for them last season. This year it had seemed to be a little bit better at times, but they still struggle with runners in scoring position. It is not a strength for them. This team has issues up and down, both the lineup and the rotation. And their big questions coming up is what's going to happen now that we have the trade deadline looming.
I guess the Astros aren't allowed to just let Yordan Alvarez bat every time. Isn't that what a designated hitter should do, right? He's designated to hit for everybody else.
What's complicated about this is that you have the best hitter in baseball on a team that is just demonstratively mediocre.
Yeah.
And, without him, this would be a very bad team. Like, let's not sugarcoat it. Yordan Alvarez is the reason this team is as good as it is, but he's not enough to carry them. Just like any single baseball player, it's not enough. You have to have it's got to be a team effort. And this is a team that's just kind of lacking in terms of, support all over the place. The bullpen got better, the rotation got worse, the hitting gets better, and then the bullpen falters. It's been just a sort of a series of errors throughout the year that's kind of hard to explain.
The Stros take on the Marlins in an interleague series and then the White Sox in 3-game sets this week. In past years, those would be bottom of the standings clubs for Houston to feast on. How about this year?
Yeah, not so much, especially the White Sox. I mean, I don't think anybody saw that coming out of nowhere. And the Marlins have been, very solid this year too. One of the lower payroll teams in baseball as well. And that's been sort of this that's kind of been a bit of this season. You've seen teams like Pittsburgh and Miami and for a while Oakland there, teams with lower payroll having some success. But, I think that ultimately it doesn't matter who the Astros play right now. The Astros have to go out and win series. And quite frankly, they need to win in bunches. They haven't put together a long winning streak this year. Like, Boston Red Sox are on a 13-game winning streak. They were out of it, a couple of weeks ago. That's really all it takes in the American League, because the American League is just wildly all over the place when it comes to record. One good run of, say, 10 wins in a row, and the Astros probably lead the division and probably are in the wild card as well, even if they aren't in the lead of the division.
You mentioned the trade deadline. It's 2 weeks from today. Do you anticipate the Astros will try to make some moves to move the needle the rest of the season?
The Astros swear up and down that they're going to be buyers at the trade deadline. Right now, I've got to question whether or not that is true. You have to look at the next 2 weeks and say, listen, if the Astros suddenly lose, a couple more series and now they're 6-7 games back of both the wild card and the division, is that the point where you start changing your opinion about whether or not you should be buyers at the deadline? Now, I don't know that the Astros will be sellers either, although you could make an argument for making some moves at the deadline to help bolster a farm system that's really bereft of talent. But I think right now the Astros are in a really awkward position. They're the best hitter in baseball and one of the most mediocre lineups in baseball. It's tough right now for them to figure out exactly what they're going to do, because they also need to rebuild their farm system, but they can't just completely shut it all down and trade away everybody. They're in a very difficult spot. If I were Dana Brown, I would not want to be in his shoes.
Well, okay, but if you were, what one move might you make?
I mean, if you're going to make a move in terms of, buying, then it has to be for a bat, right? The trade will have to come from the major league roster. So you're not going to be trading away a bunch of prospects for that. If you're going to make a move at all, it's going to have to be for a left-handed bat, preferably an outfielder. However, if you're asking what I would do personally, I personally might start looking at moving a few pieces to just sort of improve the Astros position in the next couple of years. Never mind, look at what they did with Cam Smith, right? I feel like those are the kind of moves that might be better for them, rather than trying to make moves that get them into the postseason, hopefully, fingers crossed, this year. Moves that can help bolster the team as they're going forward over the next few years. This is a transitional phase for this team, and they need to really start thinking about what's going on in their future, particularly in the next 2 to 3 seasons.
Sometimes those moves are addition by subtraction. Do you think there's a possibility there? Is there anybody in the system that you think is not getting the opportunity that they could if a veteran was moved out?
Well, to be honest with you, I'm wearing my Bury Me in the H hat today, and that's, Lance McCullers was moved. That was part of that. Colton Gordon, a lefty out of the bullpen, was moved. I think, Nate Pearson was designated for assignment, another pitcher the Astros signed in the offseason who's been kind of a bust. I really do think when you look at it, there are some players out there you have to start. Look, Brian Abreu is up, at the end of this year. I'm not sure he's going to get you very much. The biggest trade piece you can argue about, and I don't think the Astros will trade him, but I think if you're going to make a significant move, the guy you look at is Jeremy Pena. He's the guy that could bring in the most return. And you can plug in a guy like Bryce Matthews right into his spot, who was a shortstop and a second baseman previously. But I don't know that the Astros are going to be doing that. I'm not sure they're ready to tear it down yet. Jim Crane has never been someone who wanted to do that. And I just can't see him doing it right now in the middle of a season where we've got Yordan Alvarez on pace to be an MVP.
Meantime, one thing I wanted to bring up with you last week, the Athletics' Enos Saris reported that Major League Baseball has effectively outlawed the growing practice of using league-provided dugout iPads to access generative AI, which, as Saris notes, quote, some teams had increasingly leaned upon to help shape in-game strategy. So basically, some teams, it seems, may have been turning to generative AI to tell them what pitches to throw next, things like that.
Right.
What's your reaction to this report?
AI's everywhere. I mean, you can't stop it. Look, and I think it was only a matter of time before teams were already using very, very sophisticated algorithms and computer systems to help them, determine whether players were going to be successful or not, what players should be doing. I mean, they're all on the cutting edge of technology. So it makes sense that the next move would be AI. I'm not so sure I'm with baseball on that because, frankly, how do you know AI is generating a better decision than a veteran manager, or a pitching coach or somebody like that? I'm not so sure we really know the answer to that. But if they want to do that because they're afraid that maybe there's some sort of competitive advantage they get, I guess that's fine. But don't think they're not using it already, or they haven't been using it the last few years to help already put themselves in a better position to win. As we've seen in the past, baseball teams will do whatever they need to get a competitive advantage.
It does seem, if I'm understanding correctly, the line they're trying to draw here is not necessarily that you can't use these tools, just that you can't use them during the game in the dugout, right? For real-time information. You can use...
It's weird.
Yeah, because I guess where they think the line is if everybody's using the same stats, the same tools, the same access at the start of the game, and at the end of the game and in between, that's different from one team getting some sort of potential competitive advantage by having some real-time updates that the other team doesn't.
It's weird, though. I mean, it doesn't cost anything, right? These are very it's not like if they're using like ChatGPT or Claude or something like that, I mean, it's a minuscule amount. And again, if they all have access to the same generative AI, now it'd be one thing if a team had built its own internal generative AI and input all of the data from around the league. Okay, maybe that is where the line should be drawn. But if they're literally just going in there with a chat bot and trying to gain insight, I'm not so sure that's a problem. I do understand why they want to watch out for, because you can build your own generative AI on your own internal servers and you can feed it your own data and get all sorts of information out of it. And if that is the case, then certainly Major League Baseball needs to consider that. But at some point, it wouldn't be shocking for me if an AI companion, whether it be internal or external, becomes a part of the coaching philosophy for teams. I mean, they have sheets right now that tell them this is what I should do at certain times, right, or whatever. AI is just faster at that. And so I think eventually you're going to see rules put in place where they're able to use it, just not, it can't be the Wild West. They're going to have some constraints on what they can do, when they can use it, and what type of AI they can actually use.
Jeff Balke writes for the Houston Press and co-hosts the Believe in Astros podcast. Jeff, thank you very much.
Thank you, Craig.
And in these final minutes of today's Houston Matters, let's check back in once more with Michael Atkeson as we discuss Houston Public Media's Resiliency Fund campaign. Hello again, Michael.
Hey, Craig, good morning. A little bit of a good update that we just got from our producers. We have raised almost $18,000 this morning. That is $4,000 ahead of the goal right now. Don't want to speak too ahead of ourselves, put the cart before the horse. We still need people to donate. We are about $548,000 away from the goal for this fund. This is the Resiliency Fund, making up for the $2.2 million that we lost in federal funding, which is about 10% of our budget and wasn't insignificant. The goal is now to raise $4.4 million for 2 years of that lost support. So this service can stay right here for you in the future. Again, $548,000 away from that goal, Craig.
Houston Public Media matters to you. It's why you listen. We know you value this service. Now is the time to help us get across the finish line, get that last $548,000 raised towards that $4.4 million resiliency fund, and ensure that we're here for you when you need us. Give now at HoustonPublicMedia.org, whatever makes sense for your budget, or you can call 888-909-0887.
And as we talk about loss of federal funding, you might be thinking, well, Houston Public Media is still on the air. And yeah, that's true. We've been reporting and explaining and listening and showing up for the city when it mattered. But at the end of the day, that money that we lost is significant for us. Now we need you to help ensure that we are here long-term and strong into the future. So don't wait. Become a new member today. Give now at HoustonPublicMedia.org/donate or pick up the phone and call 888-909-0887.
John listens to News 88.7 and has lived in Houston since 1960. Says he grew up with Houston Public Media. He says NPR News later became part of his daily commute. And he says our journalists present accurate news built on facts that lets the listener decide. This is a public service we know that matters to you. So don't wait. Give right now. Support us like John supports us at houstonpublicmedia.org/donate or call 888-909-0887.
We cannot say this enough. New supporters matter so much to this station right now. If we're here with you every morning, if you're listening to Houston Matters every morning, if we're the one that gets you to work and back home again, this is a good moment to make that next step. We mean it when we say we are 100% community funded. Every single program, every single report, every update you hear, that's all because of you. And with the loss of federal funding, we're relying on you more than ever. So give us a call, make a donation, houstonpublicmedia.org/donate, or make that call 888-909-0887.
It takes just a minute to make a real impact. Give to this resiliency fund. It's quick, easy, and it helps support all the programs you rely on from News 88.7. Give that $10 or $20 or $30 a month gift right now at houstonpublicmedia.org/donate or call 888-909-0887.
Tonight on Houston Public Media TV8, enjoy 2 episodes of Antiques Roadshow from the Denver Botanic Gardens in Colorado starting at 7. Then Iconic America looks at the American Cowboy at 9. Tonight on TV8.
Another hot one, weather, sponsored by Stewart PC, attorneysforexecutives.com. Near 100 for the next